I went from this to this simply by learning a few fundamentals that I'm about to share with you right now. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because physical health is truly the first step towards self-improvement. And the best way to start your process is to learn how to go to the gym consistently. Because whether you want to improve the relationships, create the business, or become financially free, at the end of the day, you still have to tackle the same problems. And at first, it will be the lack of energy, the lack of focus, and the lack of discipline. And that's exactly why on your self-improvement to-do lists, building a sustainable gym routine should be number one priority, as this will just unlock everything else. That's precisely why in this video, I'll give you the mental and physical structure to help you start going to the gym even if you've never exercised consistently in the past. First off, we need to go over the mindset required to begin the process. Because let's be honest, if your body is out of shape, it's capable of going to the gym. Because as a wise man told me a long time ago, as long as you have both arms and both legs, you can squat. At first, it's not your body that's limiting you when starting. It's your mind and all the preconceived notions that you hold against yourself. These are called limiting beliefs. Don't try to change them overnight, because if they're here, it means that you've been nurturing them in your mind for a long time now. For now, all you have to do is to be aware of their existence. Think of this as a game. You're at level 1 and you don't yet have the power to fight against level 50 monsters, but you can acknowledge their existence and start to analyze the different levels that will lead you there eventually. And by gaining this kind of awareness, you can shift from feeling and being overwhelmed by the whole process to observing what's happening in your own behavior. This is the first transformation you're aiming for. Essentially, it's about moving from judging yourself and your thoughts to observing them and analyzing their manifestation to identify those limiting beliefs. And for this to happen, you need to be completely honest with yourself. Nothing will change unless you confront your reality in its entirety. I emphasize this point in step 1, first link in the bio. And now that you've adopted the mindset of an observer, let's discuss what's going to happen next. Because as you start going to the gym and try to make this thing a sustainable habit, you're going to encounter what's called friction. I talk about this in depth in the previous video, and I suggest you go watch it if you want more details about implementing the habit. So when you start mentally, cognitively, friction is going to shift into excuses and offer you a way out every time that you have to engage. That's, for example, when the voice in your head is saying that maybe you could do more work if you didn't go to the gym, even if you know that's not really true. There will always be thousands of good reasons not to do something, but you only need one reason to keep doing it. And that links to evolution. So evolutionary speaking, your brain is designed to save energy. Think of this as the power saving mode that's on your phone. Little yellowish battery, well, that's your brain. And when stepping out of the comfort zone, it will try as much as possible to keep you from engaging because you're sailing in the unknown. And that could potentially cost you a lot of crucial energy when it comes to survival. Now, the problem is that in modern society, you don't need that crucial energy as much because there's little chance that you need to sprint because of a tiger that's chasing you. That's why, if not necessary, your brain will try to prevent you from engaging, especially when friction is high. And it will come up with a bunch of excuses. You don't have the time, you don't have the money, you don't have the energy, you can do this, that. And the secret to combating this is to make it non-negotiable. In your mind, you have to convince yourself that going to the gym is necessary. It's not an option. It needs to happen. Otherwise, you'll face the consequences of being out of shape for years and years to come. And more than that, it needs to happen because it's the first step that leads to everything else. It is level 1. You need to build your character and acquire the traits that boosts levels. Gym is just the first dungeon to do that. Now it takes time to convince yourself that it's a non-negotiable. It's the first process that you have to go through. But your brain has to be on board with this. But once your brain's on board, then engaging will be far easier as you'll just team up with your brain instead of fighting against it. That's why to back this up, you need an emotional reason to change and to engage. The stronger the emotional reason, the better the chances of convincing your brain. Because at the end of the day, emotions are one thing, and that's simply pieces of information triggered by internal and external cues. So if you're out of shape, you probably feel, and that's going to be hard to acknowledge, but you probably feel shame about your body. You can truly take this shame and try to observe it as like a distant person. So try to zoom out of your everyday perception. And once you understand that this shame is just an emotional trigger to you not thinking that you have enough muscle mass, then the problem just becomes not feeling shameful, but building muscle. And once you get through this first analysis of the emotion versus what you need to do, which is your goal, then you have clarity about what to do next. Now, you'll need a clear structure on what to do next once you're there. And this is where I'm going to go step by step into what to do when you first enter in the gym for you to not shit yourself in front of it, for you to be confident, to feel more confident, and to be more at ease with what you're about and what you need to do next. So you can separate your workout in 3 different categories. So have the warm up, the workout in itself, and the cool down. I see that all the time when I coach my clients. They tell me that they don't have any warm up established. You can't jump straight into the workout. You need your body to know that you're going to exercise. So to warm up your body, you want some kind of first light cardio activity. Okay. For example, I walk to the gym, 12 to 15-minute walk. I just walk a little faster than I would normally. And I call this my warm-up cardio. It's basically just standing up and using your body to move. Because the last thing that you want to do is jump out straight off the car and take 80 pounds dumbbell to press it. You want to get the blood flow going. You want to signal your body that you're about to begin, that you're about to enter in the exercise phase. Also, take advantage of the time walking, for example, on a treadmill or biking to prepare your mind. So you want to visualize the exercises you plan on doing during the session. Think about where you'll have to go and the pathway that you're going to use. I found this to be very comforting when I first started going to the gym, as I was kind of socially anxious about the whole process. Stay away from your phone. A lot of people want to hide behind their phone. You don't want to do that. You want to observe people around you. Not be creepy. You want to observe them, okay? So just like side eye people, okay? Don't do that. And how they organize their workout. So pick 1 to 2 person that makes sense in what they're doing and just observe them. Okay. Also notice where the equipment is located. Build a mental map of the gym. Again, just observe. Then you enter into the second phase of the warm-up, which is going to be a little more specific to the workout you'll be doing. So like physical education, just wrist rotating in and out with the elbows, that kind of stuff. That's important. Even if it looks funny and useless, it's not. It helps your joints. And the final part of the warm-up is the transition to exercising. Start with 2 warm-up sets for your first exercise before using your real working weights. Now, entering into the workout phase, big boys. So for the workout in itself, when starting, you really want to focus on a handful of classic exercises. Here's a list of the most general ones for each muscle group. Please stay away from the kettlebell deadlift with one finger that you see on social media. There is a reason why bodybuilders have been squatting and bench pressing for over 100 years, okay? Don't trust what you see online just because someone has an audience. Okay, ask yourself, does this look coherent with the body and the purpose of the exercise? Same thing when you're observing people in the gym. You don't have to have a PhD in biomechanics to understand that single-handed bench press on the Bosu ball is about as useful as doing push-ups on the swing. Now that's out of the way, let's talk about the real stuff. So what you want to do is focus on basic exercises and build your workout off that. The ones I just listed are going to be enough for you to start for your first weeks. You want to target all muscle groups pretty evenly. So depending on the frequency that you've chosen for your gym habit, you pick 1, 2, or 3 being the maximum muscle groups per session, and you just stick to them, okay? Then you do 2 to 3 exercises per muscle group. So when you're starting, the most important thing is the frequency, not the intensity. For example, if you only have 30 minutes, pick one muscle group and build your session around it. So that could be shoulders. For instance, you could do these 3 exercises. One to hit the frontal part of your deltoids, so usually some kind of shoulder press. Then lateral raises stabilized to target the lateral parts. And finally, let's add some variation and use a machine to work on real delts. That's just an example. And if you have any problem constructing your gym routine, join the community. The link is in the description and ask me. I'll gladly help you correct your workout plan. I also suggest that if you want to invest yourself in this, you'll learn the basics of anatomy, particularly muscle systems. And in a couple of hours, you'll be able to understand the mechanics of the human body way more than any Instagram guru that you can see on Instagram. The only thing that truly matters when you start is to learn the technique properly. So yes, tempo, sets, reps, and everything is important, but up to this point, it is not the priority. You can stick to the classic 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps depending on the exercises and the weight that you're using, because I'm not too concerned about that when starting. I'm going to introduce you to a little bit of exercise science. In order to build muscle, what you have to do is you have to apply mechanical stress on your muscle system, forcing it to adapt and grow bigger. That's why you're lifting heavy shit, if you were wondering why. You want to keep lifting heavier and heavier weights to force muscular adaptation. That is called progressive overload. However, there are conditions to this. One is to acquire the technique first. If you don't have the technique, you're not allowed to increase the weight. And building muscle doesn't occur during the gym. You're destroying your muscles during the gym. You're building muscles when you recover. That's why nutrition and recovery are especially important. Again, I'm going to explain all of that in the community. And once your workout's done, then there's the cool down. It's basically taking the time to return back to baseline level in terms of heart rate, blood pressure, neural activity. You can either stretch or do a little bit of cardio again, some light cardio, like walking back to your place, just like I do. Try to really take the time to recover oxygen, and you can use that time to practice some deep breathing to ease back into the normal state. Stop using your phone, listen to nature for a while. And if you're in the heart of the city, I don't know, find something that is nice to listen to. So by engaging repeatedly in physical activity, 2 major things will happen. First, you'll access more energy. Second, you will start to build self-discipline. Use more energy and your body will have to produce more energy as you start to engage consistently and go to the gym more frequently. And even if it sounds counterintuitive at first, by using and burning more energy, your body will react by improving its energy levels. And that's why the first thing on your agenda is to start exercising regularly. On the other hand, discipline is a skill you'll start to learn. Just like everything else, the first few times you're really bad at it. And then you just realize that as long as you keep engaging, you'll eventually get around it enough times to master it in the long run. These 2 outcomes will arise from you committing and sticking to going to the gym. And that's the first step to self-improvement, increasing energy and building self-discipline through regular exercise. That is what's hidden behind the you just need to start going to the gym. That is why so many people are telling you, yeah, that's the first step, and that's like non-negotiable of the whole journey. Ultimately, this is going to allow you to increase energy levels, improve mood, your focus, your ability to go through stress, resilience, pretty much everything. Remember that it's a process and nothing can be instantaneous, and you don't want things to be. Be patient, keep engaging. So I hope this helps. Trust the process.